Well, what a really interesting transfer window this has been from Bristol City's perspective, especially lately. Another outgoing from Ashton Gate has been confirmed, and Cal Naismith has left Bristol City on loan, but really has left Bristol City permanently, and with 6 months left on his contract, has left for Luton Town. Back to Luton he goes on a loan deal. Naismith joined the club whilst Nigel Pearson was still in charge on a free transfer from Luton Town, and in his 2.5 seasons with the football club has managed just 44 league appearances for Bristol City, and it's been a wretched time for Cal Naismith with injuries and also a general feeling of hasn't quite nailed down a real position in this Bristol City squad. Is he a centre back? Is he a left centre back in a back three? Is he comfortable in a centre back pairing? Is he actually a central defensive midfielder? There's been a lot of kind of moving parts with Cal Naismith, and unfortunately, he hasn't quite locked down position. And even when, even he's not really been fit that much and not really available for Liam Manning and for Nigel Pearson as well. So ultimately, I'm sure a player on really high wages just hasn't worked out for Bristol City. Player who was brought with a lot of promise, a lot of kind of quality, and had a really excellent season. Luton Town winning player of the season, captaining a lot of the games, and ultimately leading them to a playoff finish in sixth and having some iconic moments at Kenilworth Road. He goes back there. It was a high-profile signing for Bristol City at the time, and again, at 29, I think it would have been when we signed him initially, just hasn't worked out from a Bristol City perspective. And at the moment, it feels like the right time to kind of cut our losses and say goodbye. And with 6 months left on his contract, we're not going to be recouping any transfer fee of sorts, but it's another high wages player off the books. His last appearance for Bristol City was, well, it looks like his last appearance for Bristol City was quite an apt fitting and quite an apt kind of conclusion of Cal Naismith's time here. It was that 2-1 defeat against Sheffield United. He started the game and he then went off injured, and then after that, it kind of went downhill a little bit, and then Sheffield United scored 2 goals late on to win the game. Kind of fitting for his time at Bristol City. So good luck to Cal. Unfortunately, wonders just didn't work out for Bristol City. These things happen, and good luck to him at Luton, who I'm sure will welcome him back with open arms. They sit 23rd in the Championship and look to be spending quite a bit of money this January transfer window to try and get themselves out of the relegation zone in Championship. With Cal Naismith's departure, this leaves Bristol City quite short in the centre-back options. So we have had a back three, very well, most part of the season, of Zach Viner, Luke McNally, Rob Dickey. They've been our starting 3 centre-backs. Our kind of backup options have always been, Rob Atkinson when he's come back, and Cal Naismith, really. Those have been our options at centre-back. Aidan Roberts has also played there a couple of times, and so has George Tanner previously. But with Cal Naismith's departure and Rob Atkinson's departure on loan to Portsmouth early in the window, that's 2 options short, and Bristol City are now left with Luke McNally, Rob Dickey, Zach Viner. That's it, really. Hayden Roberts has played a kind of left wing back position recently. We don't know the extent of Cam Pring's injury. Hopefully he's back soon. George Tanner can play in the right centre-back role, but that wouldn't be my go-to option. I think Bristol City are now really in the market for another centre-back this final week of the transfer window. The departures of Atkinson and Naismith also means that Bristol City have let go of 2 players in this January transfer window who are centre-backs who are naturally left-footed, and well, that combined with the fact that all of our kind of natural centre-backs at the moment, so I'm mentioning McNally, Viner, Dickey, are right-footed, and Dickey has been comfortable playing on the left-hand side. McNally's played on the left-hand side this season and been fine, but sometimes you can just miss that balance, and to let go of 2 centre-backs who are naturally left-footed is disappointing. Will that be a priority in terms of a potential Bristol City centre-back signing? I'm hoping it is. A name that has been mentioned this window, and also kind of latterly towards the summer transfer window before we signed Luke McNally, was Harry Darling. Harry Darling's got 6 months left on his Swansea City contract, and clearly is a player of interest to Liam Manning for several reasons. The 25-year-old Harry Darling is a natural kind of right-footed centre-back, so doesn't fit into the left centre-back mould that we're after, but has been a mainstay in Luke Williams' Swansea City side. 28 starts in the league out of 29 games Swansea City have played, and the last one, he only missed the last game because of a suspension after following a red card against Sheffield United. He was part of that MK Dons team containing Scott Twine, Harry Darling was a mainstay in that MK Dons team under Liam Manning, so has worked with Liam Manning before, so clearly there must be some sort of coexisting relationship already there between player and manager, and had the knack for popping up with the goals. 7 goals in League One that season as MK Dons finished in the playoffs and missed out on promotion. I think this would, in my humble opinion, as a player, really like Harry Darling. I think he's got excellent qualities on the ball. His kind of game has been developed from top end League One to really top end Championship, and there's no wonder there's been interest from like Sheffield United in Harry Darling as well. His qualities on the ball are there to see. I mean, it helps when you're playing a Swansea side that are very kind of open, very much kind of play out the back, and very methodical in that manner under Luke Williams and under Russell Martin when he was initially signed as well. So there's a lot of promise to the signing, a potential signing. If Bristol City do pull it off, it'll be interesting to see if we can outcompete Sheffield United for it. But again, still not the left-footed option that we're kind of lacking in that balance as well. So I'm not saying he's a bad player and he would not be a bad signing at all, but I'm sure he'd also want to start games for Bristol City, and whether or not we can guarantee that at the minute is off doubt. Considering he's only got 6 months left on his contract, the transfer fee would be considerably lower than what it would be for a player of his calibre and the kind of body of work that he's built up in the Championship and kind of the reputation he's built up as a really top Championship centre-back. So that could be a cut price deal in that department. So hopefully there's all the motivation that Bristol City need to go and pull this off, because this would be, in my opinion, a really good signing, even though he's not the left-footed centre-back that I'm sure that Liam Manning and Brian Tinney will be looking at to provide that little bit of balance. There's been a lot of movement, potential movement for Bristol City in this transfer window in terms of outgoings, and let's move to the forward areas now. Fally Mayulu joined Austrian side Sturm Graz on loan just yesterday, and I made a video on that, so you can check that out on the channel. Mark Sykes was subject to a bid from Stoke City, or reportedly anyway, and well, Manning has said that he wants to keep Mark Sykes at Bristol City. The only complication is, though, he's got 6 months left on his Bristol City contract, and despite City having a year's extension, that brings a little bit of uncertainty to his kind of career and his future at Bristol City, whether or not that lays here, or whether or not that lays somewhere else, whether that's Stoke or another club. Well, it's interesting. Sykes has built a reputation at Bristol City for being a reliable player, versatile player, someone who works hard and at moments can produce real moments of quality. Preston away sticks to mind, and so did Sheffield Wednesday away very recently, where he put 2 wonderful balls into the box for Naki Wells attack. Again, as I mentioned, the versatility is a real option and a real utility to have, kind of playing that right wing role. He's been quite good, and there's a period of time last season, the start of it, where him and Sam Bell were really kind of useful outlets to have on the wing. We could play right wing back and provides more of an option in terms of just a bit more of an attacking threat compared to some of our other wing backs and full backs. He's also covered at left backs at points for Bristol City when there have been other injury problems all over the pitch. So it would be really, really disappointing to lose someone like Mark Sykes. He has had his inconsistency periods for Bristol City. He's not completely flawless, but I think for a player of Mark Sykes' kind of versatility and calibre and kind of the reputation it's built here, and just being reliable for City, someone who's not really made too many mistakes for Bristol City. Attacking players will have their off days. I mean, who doesn't? But yeah, the ability to kind of have a reputation of not being very reliable is one that's very difficult to do. Mark Sykes has moments, but I think has proved himself to be a reliable kind of member of Liam Manning's squad. So I'd be disappointed if we were to lose him this January transfer window, and also it would just cause an unnecessary headache into the forward line, because we cannot afford to lose too many more players in the forward positions, even if it does mean wages, transfer fees, all of that kind of shenanigans does free up, because we'll leave ourselves incredibly light in the transfer in a squad department with very little time left in the transfer window. There's also the conundrum of Harry Cornick, where the forward has not played a single Championship minute this season. He's only made one appearance for Bristol City altogether this season. That was in the League Cup, coming on as a substitute. So I'm sure he'll be itching to get a move away from Ashton Gate and try and kind of further his career somewhere else. Charlton and Wrexham have previously been mentioned. Charlton makes sense with Nathan Jones being there. Wrexham makes sense as that kind of top League One side, who I'm sure he'd do a very good job for. And at 29 years old, I'm sure he desperately wants to play. And ultimately, Bristol City are going to have to make a decision there as well. And despite us, being quite proactive in terms of letting players go, we need some players into the door. So forward is a pretty big priority, has been a pretty big priority all transfer window. And now the fact that we've left ourselves short at centre back and defender must be on the wish list for Liam Manning, I'm sure, as well, and something I'm desperately hoping, and I'm sure will be happening in the background, that Bristol City are kind of lining up, and hopefully we've got maybe a couple of names lined up that Bristol City may be going to announce. And I know Liam Manning said at the start of the transfer window that there may not be too many additions, but I think now we've put ourselves in a position with not a lot of time left in the transfer window as well, that City desperately need some reinforcements to keep ourselves on track, if not better, our current league position. Well, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and here's hoping by the time Bristol City make that trip to Oxford next weekend that there are at least one, maybe not two, new signings into the door, and a bit more excitement in terms of incomings for us fans to talk about. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Keep safe, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.